Merry belated Tree Day, everyone. Sorry I'm late with this video, but it's the holiday season, and I kind of hope you give me a pass on that. Plus, I've been a little sick lately. I was kind of nauseous the other day, actually, so I didn't really feel like making videos. But anyway, enough stalling. For an early Christmas present this year, we got an iMPACT that was a little better than usual. I'm not going to say it was a great show, but it was a step up. Granted, it wasn't hard to take a step up from last week, but I do mean that in a good way. Some positives worth mentioning here. It was a Christmas-themed episode, but they played it straight for the most part. There was no stupid holiday crap like the Singapore candy cane match, or a Christmas gift box challenge where you win the title by opening the right Christmas present, or, I don't know, Big Show and Hornswoggle dressing up like Santa Claus and an elf, coming to the ring to hand out presents and read the WWE's version of The Night Before Christmas in a segment that feels like it goes on for 10 years. There was that stupid backstage skit with Eric Young and Orlando Jordan, but that was over and done pretty quickly. They kept it mostly serious. I appreciated that. Also, we got more wrestling this week. That's always a good thing. Something that allowed for this was that they actually resisted the urge to cram 4 hours worth of material into a 2-hour show for once. Team 3D sat the show out, they established a theme for the show, and they stuck to it. The theme was, Immortal want all the titles. I guess the knockout titles don't count, but whatever. They want all the men's titles, and they're going after them. That's what the show is about, so they focused on that. And I think if they can continue to do that and not get constantly sidetracked by all this other stupid crap, like 3D breaking up, or EV2, or talking caskets, or whatever, then I think the show will be better than what we've been seeing for a long time now. They focused a lot on building the main event of Genesis. Now, I do have a lot of issues with that match. I don't think it should be Morgan versus Anderson. I don't like how you got this huge heel faction in Immortal who have the rule of the roost, and instead of just lining up potential face challengers for Jeff Hardy, of which there are quite a few, you're just delaying that by pitting the babyfaces against each other. That doesn't really put over the heels at all. It just feels like you're stalling until you can pull the trigger on Hardy versus Van Dam. It doesn't do anything for Immortal to have the babyfaces fighting amongst themselves. Plus, we've seen this already. We saw it during the main event Mafia Frontline feud, and it didn't work then either. I want to see these guys fighting Immortal. I don't care about Morgan versus Anderson, and I suspect a lot of people feel that way. Now, they are at least making an effort to hype it up. They're doing a lot to try to create tension between those guys, but I don't know what the point of this concussion thing is. And basically, they're telling us that Anderson isn't 100% physically, which means that when the bell rings at Genesis, the match probably won't be that good because he could be selling a head injury the entire time. So why should we pay money to see it then? It's good that they're putting emphasis on the main event of Genesis, but I really don't understand TNA's logic here at all. Something else I don't understand. The continued burial of Amazing Red. You say you want to beef up the X Division again. Well, you've got one of the best X Division wrestlers in the world on your roster, and this is what you do with him. Amazing Red could be TNA's answer to Rey Mysterio if you marketed him the right way, and you're just going out of your way to completely destroy him. I don't get it. Which leads me to the Iron Man match. AJ Styles and Doug Williams have an Iron Man match on free TV with no build-up. Why? I don't know. But actually, it wasn't an Iron Man match. Technically, it was an Iron Man rules match. You'd think that would be the same thing, but apparently it's not. As it turns out, an Iron Man rules match has a 15-minute time limit. And that really doesn't make any sense to me because one of the rules of an Iron Man match is that it lasts for 60 minutes. That's the whole reason why I call it an Iron Man match, because you have to be... I know TNA has done 30-minute Iron Man matches in the past, so I would have accepted that. But a 15-minute Iron Man match, have you ever heard of anything so absurd? Here's another question. Why in the world are you having these guys do an Iron Man rules match on free TV and then put them in a regular match on the pay-per-view? And since this match basically went to a draw, then for all this accomplished, couldn't you have just done a regular match here, have them go to a time limit draw, and then do an Iron Man match or an Iron Man rules match at Genesis? Was there something wrong with that? Was that not gimmicky enough? The match was very good, but the Iron Man rules thing was just totally unnecessary. Why should anyone pay to see these guys in a regular match when we just saw this? God, TNA, you're killing your pay-per-view buy rates with this stuff. Now, something that was the complete opposite of this that I actually liked a lot was the knockout stuff, wherein the match was bad, but the booking and the storyline were good. Now, they have a match to crown new knockout tag team champions. Sarita attacks Velvet before the match, so she can't wrestle. Angelina has to face Madison Rayne and Tara by herself, then Winter comes out to help, and she and Angelina win. The match was boring. Tara's still injured, so Madison was tagged in most of the time, so this tag match was basically Angelina versus Madison, and as we've learned in the past, Angelina versus Madison is just not a good matchup. Then Winter tagged in and she botched her finisher. I don't know why they didn't reshoot that part. It was just not a good match. But I liked how the two storylines of Sarita, Velvet, and Angelina Winter blended into each other like this. I mean, both have had build-up over a number of weeks. They finally crossed paths at a point where it made sense, and we got a payoff for it. It's not brain surgery, but when these writers usually try to do interconnected storylines, it tends to be a lot sloppier than this. Now, the execution of the match was hardly perfect, but the storyline I thought worked well. And I'm very happy that Velvet Sky did not win the championship. Now, they told us on Reaction that Velvet challenged Sarita to a strap match. Apparently, this happened off camera at some point. So Sarita's pissed off about this, and that's why she attacked Velvet. I do wonder why Sarita is so angry all of a sudden. The last time they touched on this storyline, Sarita pretty much viewed Velvet as a complete joke, and now from out of nowhere she's super pissed. That doesn't really track. Unless the whole point was to remove Velvet from this tag match. One theory is that Sarita and Winter are in cahoots and they're secretly working together to split up the beautiful people, which would make sense if you think about how they built this up. And I hope they do that because that would be a really cool twist. So that's a storyline that I like. And I didn't expect to say that because I wasn't digging the Winter thing at first. But now that we know that she's not a ghost or something stupid like that, I think this is actually kind of interesting. And the last thing I liked was the main event. It wasn't an amazing match or anything. It really should have been better considering who was in it. But I'll give it a thumbs up just because they gave it some time. There was no stupid stuff. It wasn't overbooked all to hell, and it had a clean finish, which is quite a rarity for Impact main events these days. But why they had to put the tag team titles on the line in an 8-man tag match, I don't even... Oh shit! Hit the deck! Whoa. That was a close one. Happy holidays, everybody.